So I came across this comment that I think is a perfect example of someone who is perfectly in sync with the cult of fallen existence, the cult of fallen consciousness. This is a successfully indoctrinated member of a fallen world that we call Earth in a fallen vessel that we call the human body. For they cannot understand things of a higher nature, and for a reason why someone would want to access a realm of higher consciousness who is no longer bound to the limited awareness that most humans find themselves in. The awareness of half animal and half human, which is a mixture of two consciousnesses that are fighting to dominate each other. But the human condition itself is of that fallen consciousness. So it's hard for them to think of anything outside of their own human perception and their own human environment in the world that they find themselves in. And they find it so hard to comprehend why someone would want out of that cult into something that is freer than the state they find themselves in. My husband has investigated many suicides, which just means people wanting an exit from the human condition. The phenomenon of the members acting happy or even feeling elated is a common component of the suicide decision process, or the decision to leave their body and go into a higher state of consciousness that is far removed from this lowly human condition. Once a person breaks with reality, or in other terms, sees reality for what it is, and decides to commit suicide, or decides that they no longer want to participate, they often act elated or happy. It's the psychological equivalent of feeling relieved that they have committed to ending their suffering. Wow. Yes, would you not be so happy and elated to get to decide that you want to end a life of suffering? Anyone who lives with someone who is at risk for suicide should watch for a sudden shift in personality from introverted or depressed because they find themselves in a world that they don't want to be in, participating in things they don't want to participate in, and thinking and acting in ways that goes against their nature, their higher consciousness nature. This is a distinct warning sign. Let me back up. A sudden shift in personality from introverted or depressed to an unexpected happy or elated emotional state. This is a distinct warning sign that they are in need of immediate help that should never be taken lightly. So them transforming into a happy and elated state of being because they now realize that they have a way out of this fallen state of existence. And that brings them tremendous happiness and elation of the spirit, knowing they can leave. They don't have to participate in a world of darkness and slavery any longer. Let me ask you a question. If you had a safe and easy way to leave this shit show of a world, and you knew full well that it was the exit door into a different realm or reality, would you do it? Would you do it? Let's not call it suicide. Let's call it packing your bags, packing your spiritual bags, laying down the things that you no longer want, and going on that trip somewhere that is better, more suited for you, would you do it? We're all looking for something to help us out of this state, something to save us from a world of death and decay and suffering. And if you had the option, someone offered you that, and you knew full well that it was an exit point, that you could leave and experience something far greater than this, would you do it? I think for a lot of us, we would say absolutely. Absolutely. No question. We would tell everyone, hey, I'm leaving. I care about you. I'm going to fix any loose ends that I have. I'm making my preparations. I'm so happy that I finally get to leave this prison body in this prison world in a state of fallen consciousness. And I'm expanding outward, finding something higher than this. And hey, I'll miss you, but this is something that I have to do for myself. And I hope one day you'll find me out there. This is a distinct warning sign that they are in need of immediate help that should never be taken lightly. Another sign is giving away possessions. One of this cult's members gave a necklace to a car wash attendant that he befriended right before the tragedy. Because these possessions are just vanity. It's all vanity. They mean nothing. They are little trinkets confining your unlimited spirit into a material realm, and that you're giving value to that has no value whatsoever. No value to a higher consciousness world. You are being sold something that in reality has no meaning outside of here. Giving away a little trinket or a necklace and trading that in for absolute freedom, it's a no-brainer. It's like a shackle. That necklace is like a shackle around your neck that you're deciding to take off, saying, I no longer need this. I no longer need these possessions. These possessions are possessing me and keeping me locked into a materialistic, fallen realm. And I don't need any of this. The only reason why I think I need these things is because the body is such a weak prison vessel that I have to clothe myself, that I have to seek shelter, that I have to eat so I can keep going, because my body cannot consist on its own energy. And we have all of these black holes within us that wants to feed our fake identity, our fake avatar that we've been led to believe is us. If an at-risk individual shows a sudden shift in personality as described or gives away possessions, they should be taken immediately for medical evaluation. If someone knows that the gig is up here and that all of this is bullshit, and they are freely giving away everything they have and deciding to take a walk towards infinity, their own free will, their own choice, and they are happy about it, they are happy to leave all of this world behind, they should seek immediate medical evaluation, because they have successfully broken out of the cult of humanity, broken out of the cult of a slave fallen state of consciousness. And we cannot have those people thinking this way and choosing their own freedom to exit when and how they see fit. No, we have to drag them back, drug them up, and pop them back into the propaganda, indoctrination of, you have so much to live for. There's so much people here that love and care about you, and you have so much potential. You can change the world. You can change so many people's lives. Just stay here and go back to your job and be a well participating member of this society that is going nowhere but deeper and deeper into the pits of hell, and they want to drag you with them. You don't want that for yourself. You don't want to keep consuming and enslaving other creatures and being an energy source for your work and for the government officials and for the world at large and for people around you. You want to be totally free? Wait a minute. You're saying that you want to be totally free of your body and of this fallen state of existence, and you want something higher. You think that you can achieve something higher than the fallen state of human condition. You become aware that this is all just a production of the human experience and all of the falsities of that. And you've woken up in some kind of movie and some kind of animalistic evil place, and you say you want out. You see the world full of deceptions and lies for your entire life, holding you into this cult, holding you, not letting you go. And you know that your body is just a vessel that contains something much more than anything that you can imagine down here. Oh no, you are absolutely crazy to not want to participate in a slave society, in a slave world. You are absolutely crazy for not wanting to let life dictate when, how, and why you will go out. Yes, everyone dies, but you have to suffer until that point. You can't leave our world. You can't leave our creation of fallen human existence. No, you have to stay with us because we're all suffering here. How dare you try to have a better life? How dare you? You think this is death to remain here? It is death to remain here. That's why all spiritual practices and religions speak of a heavenly realm, speak of a higher state of being. But we can't access that. We have to look towards something higher and follow what it thinks and believes for us. And it created this place for us to grow and learn and suffer just a little bit. It's not too much. It's not too much suffering, right? I mean, you weren't bound and gagged and stuffed into a meat suit and then lied to about every single thing and was coerced into participating, otherwise you suffer more, and indoctrinated since you were a child to believe in this cult of life here. No, none of that was it. You were given all of the answers, and you chose freely to remain here and participate in this society. And you always had a chance to leave, right? You can leave whenever you want. No, you can't leave whenever you want. You have to stay and remain until we decide your time is up. And you have to participate in this culture until your dying breath. And if anyone thinks outside of this, if anyone questions this, the cult comes full force in degrading and berating and calling you ill because life has so much to offer you. Life is great. This fallen state is all you know. We're all you know. You have to remain with us. How dare you be happy? How dare you be elated to leave here? You see how crazy it is? You see how insane this is? You aren't allowed to leave this cult when you want. You aren't allowed to question the cult. You aren't allowed to think for yourself. There is no exit from this cult. There is no safe and effective method that they will provide for you to leave this cult of fallen human existence. You just have to ride it out with everyone else and believe in their indoctrination. So I'm trying to paint this picture here that this world is the cult, and anyone who thinks outside of the cult is labeled mentally insane. If you don't believe in this cult's ways, in this cult's behaviors, in this cult's ideologies, you are labeled mentally insane. You are labeled as wrong to question such a beautiful, wonderful cult that they've provided for us. I think all of us here have realized that we want to grow beyond this limited, degraded state of consciousness. There is so much more that we are yearning for, yet we are being stifled at every point. The human body, the human behavior, and the mind programmings are absolutely disgusting once your consciousness has rised above the human condition and realize that we are being enslaved by this body. We are limited. There is a shackle on our mind. There's a shackle on our consciousness that will not allow us to grow past this state. And the only way to get to that higher consciousness is to shed off this body and to shed off this world and all of its possessions in all of its ways. Humanness is very beastly and animalistic. It is from this world and is of this world. You have been grafted onto the animal nature here. There is the spiritual man and there is the animal man, and you are grafted together, and you are led to believe that you are that abomination. No, your true self has unlimited potential to grow more and more and more past this fallen state. Yet, while you're in this cult, they want you to focus on your humanness. They want you to focus on what it means to be a good member of society. And you're just a cog in the cult of the human experience. And the human experience is a fallen state of consciousness that once you break out of it and break out of this cult, you realize the game that's being played on you. And you are happy and elated to find that there is an exit from this place. So you give away all your bullshit. You realize all your suffering and all your anguish and all your confusion can be left here. And part of this cult, they don't want you to know what exists beyond here. They don't want you to know anything outside of what this place is. They want you to think that this is all there is. This, who you are now, is all you can be. And everything from the entertainment, from the schooling, from basically everything that is fed to you reinforces this fallen state of human consciousness and gets you to look at the human condition alone and be focused on the human condition and your part in this world and how you relate to things of this world and what you need and what you want and what you desire. Here, here, here. It's all about here, 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 here. Once you're past here and you see that you've been enclosed into a cage, a box of limited, degraded, disgusting perception of this so-called reality, you look and yearn for something higher, because something in you yearns for something higher than this state. And this world will never offer you anything higher than this fallen state. While you're in this fallen body, you can access higher consciousness, sure, but it is so diluted and limited that you will never gain full access to anything of your true potential. The training wheels never come off, and you are not free to fully explore free, unlimited consciousness while you are here. We have been deceived. I have been deceived and programmed with this computer mind and this biological human machine body in this realm, this cage that we're stuck in, like animals at a zoo. Things can come and look at us in our cage, but we cannot perceive their awareness of us. We cannot perceive their higher consciousness looking in, because we are trapped in a frequency fence, so to say, that does not permit the raising of our consciousness. So we are like animals down here. And you can see this animal behavior everywhere you go, in everything you do. And you can see it in yourself. But for us who are growing beyond the human condition, we see others who are stuck in the human condition and stuck in the plays and falsities of this cage that we call society. And just like the animals in nature, they do what they do, and they can't think outside of what they do. They're programmed in PCs basically to do exactly what they do. These humans are just like that, but just in a more intelligent way, I guess. They think they're intelligent, but they're just running their programming called human, never thinking outside of it. So I know I've kind of gone on a long rant here, but people who don't understand wanting to exit the cage and feeling happy about exiting the cage only shows to me that they have been fully indoctrinated into the cult of fallen human perception and cannot perceive the higher consciousness of someone feeling so happy about leaving, wanting to give away everything, because it means nothing. It means absolutely nothing. And in religious texts that they so-called look to, as in Jesus, as in Christianity, he talks about this all the time. All the time. You must overcome this world if you want to follow me. I have already overcome the world. You must leave it all behind and follow me. Follow that narrow path out of fallen consciousness into a higher realm. But you cannot take your humanness with you. You cannot take these possessions with you. These are things of a fallen world. You are much greater than this. If you can't leave it behind, you will not be able to access those higher realms, because they are of no use and of no need to you outside of here. I'm only using that as an example. So we are all overcoming this lower state of being. And yes, that involves realizing that all the human activities that you participate in are of the human body, are of the prison vessel. Eating is of the prison vessel. Excreting, that is of the prison vessel. I mean, how degrading is that to have to do that every single day? It's disgusting. Even relationships of this world are of this world. We are growing into something higher and higher. And that's why we can't be around people who are still in the fallen state of consciousness, who cannot see outside of their perpetual prison. It's draining. We have to act. We have to fake it. No, we're going on this path. We're going somewhere. Our consciousness is perceiving more and more of the reality of our true potential. But we're stifled and kept down by design here. So, hope that made sense. I just saw this comment and I just had to comment on it. I am not saying anyone should do anything against their will, or if you disagree with me, that's fine. I'm just stating my opinion and my way of thinking. And hopefully it came out right. I don't know if it was understandable, but there it is. I am also not advocating for anyone to do anything. Only do what you feel is the right choice for you. All I'm doing is I am expressing that I understand why people do what they do, why they would be so happy, why they would be so elated, why they would give everything away, is because this life is meaningless compared to your potential, to my potential, outside of this fallen state of consciousness. That's all I'm doing. You have to decide for yourself in your own way these things. I'm only expressing why I feel this way and why I can relate to so-called mentally unstable people who decide to do what they do. Whereas the whole cult of this society, it just baffles their mind. They can't perceive why someone would be so happy and want to give everything away and decide to leave their participation in this. Now, what happens after you leave? That is the question. That is the question that we're all searching for. And this world makes sure that we are confused and don't know anything about that. So that just instills more fear and anxiety. And isn't that what a cult does? A cult instills fear into you wanting to leave. This cult wants you to fear what is outside of here, and it wants to keep you here for as long as it can, so it can feed off of you. If you knew full well what was going to happen after you left this body, your decision would be a hell of a lot easier, wouldn't it? But since this cult wants to keep you under its boot, so to say, under the boot of tyranny forever and ever and ever, it will not allow you to know for sure what happens if you decide to leave, or when the time comes that you are forced out of the body, because we're all forced out of the body. So this is just for mature thinkers only.